Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Mac Mini. This one is a 2014 Mac Mini. The model is an A1347. The EMC is 2840. And in this video the client brought this one in, and what we're going to do, we're going to open it up and we're going to show you the proper way of taking it apart and cleaning the whole thing and the repaste and pretty much doing your own servicing. And I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using, and iFixTek screwdriver set. All these tools that I use is in my video description in case you need to purchase yours. And I use our iFixTek screwdriver set because they have one of the best bids and the complete set that they have in here. If you get the Pro set, they will include you with an opening tools and some tweezers. If not, grab yourself a sharp tweezer. For opening tool, we're going to be using a guitar pick, a thermal paste. You can go with a thermal paste that you like. I'll recommend the Arctic MX4. You can go a little crazy with a thermal grizzly cryonut. One sheet of the workshop towel, isopropylic or isopropyl alcohol, 90% plus. And with all this on hand, let's get it started. So first thing first, we're going to power up, obviously, remove everything that you have connected. No USB, don't leave anything in here. We're going to flip it upside down. We want to remove this cover here. This is just a push down cover. So you want to grab a guitar pick or opening tool. You want to stick it on the bottom in here and just flicker it upward, and it should release this one up. And these are the tiny clips that it has. And right away, let's see all this dust that is built in here. So there's all those dust that I'll talk about. So we need to clean up everything that we have. Once we clean up here, now we're going to remove this plate over here. This is the Wi-Fi sensor right here. So we need to get some torque screws and get it started. So let's see which torque screws goes in here. Let's get the small torque ones. This one is a torque. If I can see it, torque number 7. Torque screw number 7. Remove the small ones, small screws. Alright, once we remove those ones, I'm pretty sure you have to remove the big one. These are torque number 6. Alright, now that we remove these ones, now all you need to do is to grab the cover here and lift up the cover. It might be a little harder to come up. With being over time, it's gonna snug in there. Now let me see if I can get my guitar pick right in between here. So there we go. We're just gonna work ourselves slowly all around, and it should come out. Don't yank it out. There's a Wi-Fi cable that comes all around in here. If you put it, goes right under the hinge. You want to bring it here and leave it in this position. And right here you can see it's really dusty. We're gonna remove this screw right over here for the first Wi-Fi. So now we can just snap up the Wi-Fi. So there you go. All this, you can take it outside with a toothbrush. You can clean it up, brush it off, and blow some dust, air pressure right through it. Oh my God. Now look at all this. This one has an M.2, and it does have another hard drive right there. There's 2 hard drives in here. So let's go ahead and remove everything here. First, to remove the Wi-Fi board here, again remove the other cable. Screw right there. Detach this one and detach the other one. Remove the screw right over here. You can remove the Wi-Fi in case you want to know how to remove the Wi-Fi. There's one tiny screw, which is keep using torques, different torque number 5. You can just remove this screw, put it to one side, lift up, push back the Wi-Fi board and it should come out pretty easy. I just don't have enough space. You don't have to take it apart, the Wi-Fi, but I rather take it out and clean it up nicely. All right, with all this on hand, now let's go ahead and detach the flex cable for the, let's remove the fan first. So go ahead and remove the screws for the fan. One on here, one beside it on the other side, and one right over here. Remove the fan, bring it to this side. The fan connector is a snap on from the top side, so you don't slide it, just put your tweezer underneath and bring it upward, push it upward. Take the fan out and clean it up. And there you have almost inside, you see the hole. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna detach the cables right in here. These are push down again, just remove them, just push them up with your fingernail. Put your fingernail at the bottom. There's a tiny plate right over. I'll put my finger right at the bottom and just snap it upward. And this is for the power right in here, or for the, yeah, just same thing. Bring it upward and push it to that side. Now we're gonna remove this screw right over here for the motherboard. These are the long screw. And pretty much we should be done down here. Now we're gonna grab it from here, and from here by the, put your finger right in here. I see some videos that, hold on, let me push this one back in there. Okay, let me do it again so you guys can see. I see some people say like, you know what, put your screwdriver right in here and pull it backward. Do not do this, you can damage the board. Then you know what, you can pull it from here. Don't do that. Just put you with your fingers, you can feel how much you want to force. Put your finger right by the power connector right in here, and one right here. So evenly, you want to pull towards yourself evenly. So bring it evenly, and then you're gonna see a separation right in here. Once you see that separation, then you want to stop right there. You want to detach the power cable right there. If you can, you can pull it up more. Right there. Now you can have more room to detach the power cable. Let me see if I can do it on the camera. Now I'm gonna put this one beside it. You need to pull this cable backward. There we go. Now I can just slide the whole motherboard out. And there you have the motherboard. Now you can go ahead and use a toothbrush and clean it. You want to change the CMOS battery. It's right under here. Is a CR22. You have a little tape right over. You can remove the tape, and the battery is right in here. These are the batteries that you can buy in any place. You just snap it right in there. All right, we're gonna clean this one up. For the repaste, this is as far as you go for the repaste. You don't have to remove everything else. So remove the heatsink, and we're gonna do this in a bit to clean up the pipe. But I'm just gonna go a little further and show you guys the tear down, the hard drive and the thing. To remove the power supply, it's good to remove the power supply and clean the power supply too, and the whole thing, but there's enough dust in there to push back into the heatsink. So it's a good idea to clean it. So we're gonna remove the power supply screw right there. And now the power supply has a little trigger right in here. I don't know if you guys can see this trigger. It's aluminum rail. So you want to pull this one backwards and put it to one side. Once you pull that one back, all you need to do, let me see if I can focus. You want to twist this one, twist it like this, and pull out the power supply. Just slide it out, and it will come out pretty easy. Take it outside and clean it up. For the hard drive, there's only one more screw on this side. You want to remove this one over here, and now you can remove the hard drive, lift it up a little bit, wiggle it out, and it will come out pretty easy. And there we go. So at the back, look at the dust that is falling down. There is an HGST, which is a Western Digital brand right now. Western Digital purchased this company. And there's your SSD drive right over on top. So there you go. If you don't have this one, you can actually attach it. If you want to replace this hard drive, it's really easy. There's a tiny one screw, two screws on the sides, and just remove them. So first, we're going to clean it up. All right. So I'm going to take everything outside, use a toothbrush, and clean up everything, and I'll be back right after this. I cleaned up the whole motherboard, and I cleaned up the power supply, the hard drive, nice and clean, as much as I could. The bottom case, you can even wash it if you wish, so don't worry about it, just the plastic. And I cleaned as much as I could here. The fan system, nice and clean. And clean up the chassis. Alright, so now we're gonna put everything back together. So let's go ahead and do it. First, we want to slide down the hard drive. In a second, we're gonna repaste. So there's a little tray that it goes into it. So make sure the screw holes match. Put the tiny screw on this side. Okay. And we need to grab the power supply. We want to put it this way. We want to slide it right through here. Remember, there's a little twisting going on in here. So once it's all the way in, you want to align it. And you just want to twist it right there. There we go. Grab the lock that you removed, and you want to slide this lock right underneath. So it holds it in place. I kind of see this one going to the left, so I'm just gonna leave it like there. So it has to be straight. Okay. Now we're gonna put the screw for the power supply right here. Okay. Now we're gonna, before we do anything, let's go ahead and repaste. To repaste, we need to remove these hex screws right here and one tiny one right over here. So first remove the tiny screw and change the torque to a bigger torque and remove the screws on the heatsink. There's a little springs on each one of them. This torque is a little bigger, I need. They're using like a 5 different type of torque screw. That's why I like this tool set. This is a torque number 8. There we go. Now you can grab it, bring it up, and slide it back a little bit this way. So it comes through here to out. You can clean it up too. So I'm gonna grab a little alcohol, soak it in a workshop towel. And as you see, the CPU die, the main die is touching the heatsink, and the secondary die is not touching, and there is a reason for it. I'll explain in a second, so don't worry about it. I'll explain what are those dies and why there is one and why they don't have it on the second one. Okay, just clean it up nicely. And the main die in here is for the CPU, and the second die is a Southbridge chip, which is called PCH chip. And usually on the older model, they used to have a PCH chip on a separate location. But now for the cost, lowering the cost and everything else, they included in the same CPU die, in CPU chip. So half of them, and it's way better here. The communication is faster. The PCS chip does all the file transferring and communication between IOs, goes through here, and the CPU is the one that actually heats up. So don't worry about this one here. So we're gonna draw a nice line over the CPU right there. We're gonna grab the heatsink. We're gonna bring it over, slide it underneath, put it on top, and put the screws. Make sure you always cross screw them on an X pattern. Do not go around. First start from here, and then go all the way to the cross over on the opposite side, like that. So that way the thermal paste spreads evenly over the CPU. Obviously, your fingers are gonna get dirty by doing this. All right. Now put the tiny screw on the other side. So I believe we want this one. Actually, it doesn't need it, but Mac loves putting screws everywhere. All right, now we're gonna grab the motherboard. We're gonna slide it right through the tray in here. Before we go all the way in, we need to connect the power supply. So the power supply goes in only one way in. So slide it in and push it all the way towards the jack. Now you can actually slide the rest in. Make sure all those clips go in. And bring it down evenly and push down. Make sure the power hole here goes in nicely right there. Now we're gonna snap down the bottom hard drive connector. Just push down the power supply for the hard drive, power connector, and the NVMe bridge right here. Put that one on, put the support for the bridge, and put the two tiny screws over these ones. It should be this tiny screw that we remove. Don't tighten it up because the plate is gonna move a little bit. So you need to put the other screw in before you tighten it up. Once you have both of the screws, then you can just tighten it up nicely. Not too hard. Put the other screw for the other plate. This plate actually just got stuck glued to it, so now we can grab this one. I didn't clean this one. You can clean everything. Toothbrush, the Wi-Fi board nicely, and bring it down in 10-15 degree and slide it in. And we can just move these cables out of the way and put the screw for it. And let's go ahead and put the screws for the Wi-Fi cables right there. So this one goes all the way here. So I like first snapping the connectors right in place. It makes a little tiny click. Now we're gonna put the screws. These two cables share one screw hole. Alright. Now we're gonna put the screw for the motherboard to hold it in place. There we have it. Grab the fan connector, bring it over, make sure this screw stays in it, has a C-lock, has to go through this screw hole, and it stays right on top. But before we do that, we just want to connect the fan, bring it over, and just snap it in, and then you can move it around. Otherwise, you won't be able to connect the fan. So the fan stays a little bit underneath. Just push down. Now let's go ahead and tighten up the screws for the power supply for the fan. There we have it. Now we're gonna grab the top cover. Remember, the Wi-Fi goes like this. So first we wanna plug in the Wi-Fi cable. So snap in, align the screw hole, put a tiny screw for the Wi-Fi cable. So that stays right there. Now you want to snug this Wi-Fi cable under the case, and then you want to twist it, bring it like that, and you want to face this Wi-Fi towards the front of the computer right there. Now the last thing down here would be to just put the big screws. Remember, this big screws goes right on the side. It should be like that, and one at the back. And the tiny screws goes on the other side. Again, I hope you guys like this video, and if you guys want to support the channel, you can support the channel by clicking that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. If you guys have any question or requests, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Now you're finishing putting up the last screw, and right after this, what you want to do, you want to grab this one. You see there's a 3 nipples here to go in, so put it like that and push it down, and it will go right in its place. The air goes right through the sides here, so the airflow is really bad. And that's how you service your Mac Mini 2014 models.